Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the subscriberless one. What's going on, peoples? Welcome to part 2 of my Jujutsu Shenanigans Explain series. This is a series where I break down all the differences and similarities between JJS and JJK. See that right there? That's because the first person we're talking about today is literally the luckiest man alive, Restless Gambler Kinji Hikari. Hikari is a third year at Tokyo Jujutsu High. Although he's currently suspended due to getting into a conflict with one of the higher ups, he is undoubtedly strong. Him and Yuta are two of the students that have even received high praise from the likes of Gojo. The reason why this character is gambling based is due to Hikari's philosophy in the fever. The fever can be related to a lot of aspects of life, but Hikari's fever is in gambling, and you can see that through his curse technique. Now, before we explain any moves, let's get into that. His innate technique is called Private Pure Love Train, a pachinko themed technique that is primarily applied through domain expansion. The curse technique imbued into the domain manifests Private Pure Love Train. However, Hikari can summon the visual effect indicators of the game, such as the shutter doors, outside of his domain, although these visual effects are pretty much useless outside of the domain. The first move is called Reserved Balls. This long-range attack allows the user to fire off a small projectile towards their target, dealing stun at a far range and ragdoll at a close range. This is one of the visual effects in Hikari's domain, which operates exactly how it does in the game, and you can see that he uses this attack against Charles during the Culling Games arc, but no finisher for this move. The second move is called Shutter Doors. This close quarters attack allows you to trap an enemy between two subway doors. This is one of the three visual effects that Hikari uses, also seen in his fight with Yuji and again in his battle with Charles. The finisher on this attack causes you to slice their body in half with the subway door, which is not taken from any specific JJK fight. The second last attack is Rough Energy, which is a close range uppercut infused with Hikari's special cursed energy. As you can see, when using Vessel, the cursed energy is blue, similar to most sorcerers. However, Hikari's is said to feel like being hit with a serrated bat, explaining why the green animation is different. This is a pretty basic attack that Hikari can perform at will, but you can see him punch Yuji with a similar attack when he was testing his resolve or when he gets the jump on Kashimo. No finisher for this one either. The final attack is Fever Breaker, which involves the user kicking the target towards the subway doors spawned behind them and also through the doors. This is probably inspired by the kick that he landed on Yuji during their meeting in the Perfect Preparation arc. No finisher. To wrap up all the boring stuff, the R ability is a counter attack that spawns in two closed subway doors in front of you. Upon receiving damage, you punch the enemy through the doors. This can be used to extend combos or simply to survive. We can see Hikari's proficiency with these doors throughout his battle with Kashimo, the lightning god. Now onto the hard stuff, and just bear with me for a little bit because Hikari's domain is one of the more complicated ones to explain. Idle Death Gamble is the name of the awakening as well as the name of Hikari's domain expansion. Hikari is so obsessed with gambling, his domain expansion is literally a slot machine. The basic premise is to try and hit a jackpot. To do so, one must line up 3 of the same symbols decorated with one of these baddies. The jackpot bonus grants the user unlimited curse energy and a fully automatic reverse curse technique for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. The duration of Private Pure Love Train's theme song, Admiring You. The regeneration speed during his jackpot is said to even be higher than Gojo's and Sukuna's. Unlike the Chad Hikari, in-game you only get 1 minute and 40 seconds of invincibility. This awaken is also different than the rest in the fact that you get to instantly enter your domain upon activation. This is because Hikari's domain is non-lethal, which allows him to almost infinitely reopen his domain after he receives a jackpot. Yes, we know what you're thinking. That is broken. This is why Hikari is one of my favorite characters in JJK. When he starts in his domain, he has a 1 in 239 chance of rolling a jackpot, but we're not sure if that's the same for the game though. After each roll, Hikari has a 75% chance of increasing the probability of rolling a jackpot. Stick with me, meaning that your odds will likely go to 2 in 239. As well as every time you see these numbers, it means you have met the visual effects quota and are rolling. The color of the visual effects are also important to your roll as shown in this explainer. Although it is luck based in both the anime and the game will keep resetting as long as you reach the visual effects quota. For example, if you keep using reserved balls and shutter doors in the domain by yourself and keep resetting it, you will eventually hit a jackpot. This is not plot armor, it's math. Remember, every time you reset, the probability of your roll increases. On the 4th failure, it is ensured that you will hit a jackpot, but the numbers on your jackpot do matter for future jackpots you hit. I know that could be a little confusing, so I hope I made it easier on you, but I all wish you could just enter Hikari's domain because the rules of the game get automatically implemented in our brains due to the sure hit effect of domains. While we're on the topic though, domain expansion. like and subscribe. You now have 5 seconds to subscribe, and if you don't, you're gonna be trapped in here with Redley and Swervo for the rest of your life. Speaking of jackpot, once you hit one, you will be flooded with endless curse energy as well as automatic healing that even a hollow purple or world cutting slash can affect. This unfortunately does not mean that the cooldown on your attacks are removed. The text box states, in the 4 minutes and 11 seconds following a jackpot, Hakari is effectively immortal. The first move is called Lucky Volley and allows the user to rapidly punch their opponent, kinda like Monkey D. Luffy's Gum Gum Gatling, where you then uppercut them away. This was taken from Hakari's clash with Kashimo while there was a freight container between them. The second is called Lucky Rushdown, a close range attack that goes from a sprint into a grab. Death animation for this attack causes you to jump up and punch your opponent into pieces. Overwhelming Luck is the third move, which is a running attack that grabs onto the enemy where you can then use M1 to smash them along the ground as you run. Maybe I'm just slow and this is in the manga, but I wasn't able to find the manga panel. Hopefully when this gets adapted into the anime, we'll be able to see more clearly and understand if these moves really come from the show or original. Finally, Enemy Surge, which is an uppercut into the sky with an extremely fast follow-up kick that sends them into the ground. This comes from the same fight mentioned earlier. The R ability is augmented during this time period and now will activate Rhythm, which increases the speed of your attacks. It also makes you do the dance that Hakari does when the music of his jackpot starts playing. Imagine you're fighting a man and he starts doing this. Just call it GG, bro. Lastly, there are small visual changes to your character when you are a Restless Gambler. Firstly, now you fight with your hands in your pockets just like Hakari because he's cool, and secondly, you mainly use your kicks for M1 just like he did against Charles because he's so strong he didn't need to use his hands. So now it's time to ask, how similar is this to JJK? Well, it changes your fighting style, the moveset is just like Hakari's, both our abilities come from the manga in a way, the awakening being similar to Hakari but not exact, and the domain expansion being perfect, leaving me to give Restless Gambler an A similarity rating. Next up is the self-deletion king himself, 10 Shadows Megumi Fushiguro. Megumi Fushiguro is one of the main protagonists in JJK. Alongside his other first years, he's an intelligent, efficient, versatile Jujutsu sorcerer. Although his last name isn't Zenin, he is in fact a member of the Zenin clan, and unfortunately for them, he has inherited the Zenin clan's curse technique, an extremely broken CT called the 10 Shadows. This curse technique allows the user to manipulate shadows as an intermediary, as well as the ability to summon 10 different Shikigami. This is why the character is called the 10 Shadows. Each of those summons require a specific hand seal to summon, therefore that occurs when you start the summonings in game. There are no visual changes to your avatar when equipped with this character, but it is still in development and in early access. To obtain this character as of right now, you need to purchase the early access game pass for 300 Robux. In the most recent update, they have added the Divine Dog Totality, and since it's the first Shikigami, I'll start with it. This attack allows you to summon a huge wolf-like creature that will stay alongside you until you activate his attack by pressing the same number key. This will cause Totality to pounce on the prey and slash him up to 3 times before it is dispelled. You can still use other attacks while the dog is summoned, including your M1. When someone inherits the 10 Shadows technique, they receive 2 Divine Dogs. Other Shikigami can be summoned with an exorcism ritual where the user must defeat the Shikigami in order to make them submit. This is how the CT works. This may seem like a weak power, but after one of the Shikigami has died in battle, their memories and abilities will be passed on to future Shikigami Megami creates or exercises. The Divine Dogs have been shown to come in a white and black pair, but sadly the white one was killed. Therefore, Megami created Totality, which inherited the power of its fallen twin. Totality was first shown in his brief battle with Hanami and was able to catch it off guard and damage its tough exterior. The dog even has the same symbol on his head as the show and will give you a finisher if you kill a player with it. Depending on which slash you're on, I believe the first 2 fully destroy the player's body, and the last slash will decapitate the enemy and hold their head in its mouth. This is probably inspired by the numerous times that the dogs have eaten the dead bodies of curses. The next attack is Rabbit Escape. This allows you to summon a colony of rabbits that will swarm your opponent for a few seconds. This move is blockable, but after you summon, you're free to move and attack how you like. Megami's 6th summon is called Rabbit Escape as well. It works exactly like the game and is mainly used to swarm an enemy and distract them to set up another attack. You can see here that their strength is in numbers due to them being individually weak. No finisher for this attack. Following that is Nue. This electrifying bird is summoned in the sky and will fly over to the target and swoop them off their feet. Just like most of the 10 Shadows attacks, this one is not very powerful, but will cause the player to get ragdolled. Again, Megami's Nue is the same, but way more effective in Megami's hand. It is probably the most summoned Shikigami besides the Divine Dogs and can help him traverse in the air and combo attacks like he used right here. After killing someone with this attack, you can see that their body is electrocuted. This is most likely taken from his battle with Chizuru Hari in the Culling Games arc. Megami uses Nue to electrocute Hari and slam him into the ground, leaving him incapacitated. Finally, there is Toad, which is a long-range attack that allows the user to pull the enemy in with the Toad's long tongue. This does no damage but will allow you to combo off of it or catch someone who is running away. This is also blockable, but if used right can be effective. Remember how I just said Megami likes to combo with Nue? Well, that's not the only combo he can do. Due to his intelligence, Megami uses multiple Shikigami and merges them into one. For example, he can use the toad in combination with Nue to create a group of small toads that can fly. This is the true power of the 10 shadows and is probably the reason why a user of Limitless and Six Eyes was defeated by a user of the 10 shadows in the past. These toads will do the same thing as the original but will instead launch the user into the air. This is again blockable but can still be done even if your Nue is on cooldown. These frogs are known as Wells known Abyss and were first used in this confrontation with Aritoto. No finisher for this attack though. Since the 10 shadows can allow the user to manipulate the shadows, including entering and storing items, this is what the R ability does in game. You can use this for movement or to store objects and release them at a later point. Honestly, I think this is the weakest R ability of them all and should probably be added on before its official release. This R ability can be used with Nue to allow you to briefly ride him in the air. Next up is the Awakening, which is titled Insanity. This is a callback to Megami's first time using his Chimera Ant Shadow Guarded Incomplete Domain expansion. Damn, that's a mouthful. No diddy. Megami reached a point of insanity which led him to be able to use his domain. Although incomplete, the domain floods the area with fluid shadows that can rapidly produce any Shikigami Megami desires. Due to the incompleteness, he doesn't have a sure hit function, but the 10 shadows technique is improved to 110% of its potential. This allows Megami to produce clones of himself from the shadows as well as Shikigami. Megami is unable to produce a barrier around the domain currently and must overlap an indoor space to forcibly enclose his domain to trap his target inside, just like how he did with the Finger Bear and in the Gymnasium against Reggie. At the time of this recording, there still is no domain, but maybe the ability will be added so that if you're in a building or in a train station, you can use it to create your domain like this leak shows. Picture it in your head, no boundaries. Oh whatever, let's go, is what the text reads and comes from when Megami first used his domain. The first time we see Megami use this is against a Finger Bearer and makes quick work of him. We again see this in Shibuya when Megami uses it to break out a Dagon's domain and nullify his sure hit effect. Again, this is an early access character, that's why I had to come back and film this part since they added 4 new moves for Megami's Awakening. The first move is called Max Elephant. This attack summons a humongous elephant from the sky which is dropped straight down onto your target. Max Elephant is the name of Megami's 5th Shikigami, an elephant Shikigami that can spew large volumes of water from its trunk. It can also be used to crush its master's target with its weight, however it costs a lot of curse energy to conjure when compared to other Shikigami. Megami uses this attack in his fight with Noritoshi Kamo and Reggie, but this finisher is taken from his fight with Jiro Awasaka. When Max Elephant is dropped, it will splatter your opponent's body like how I be doing mosquitoes every summer. Secondly is Great Serpent. This versatile attack allows you to summon and control a large snake that will bite down on your opponents and go through buildings like a hot knife through butter. After a few seconds, you will let go of the target, dealing stun and a poison effect. Not sure how powerful the poison is yet, but it does deal damage. Megami's 4th Shikigami can quickly attack and ensnare its master's target. It appears suddenly from the shadows to immobilize the target within its mouth, making it for an effective surprise attack. The Great Serpent's size allows it to overpower large curses and can also be used to keep target in place while other Shikigami attack. This attack most likely comes from Megami's encounter with Sukuna, where he used the Great Serpent to hold him in the air when he then comboed him with Nue. Hopefully JJS can find a way to add this move, kind of like how you combine with 3 and 2 to create a Wells known Abyss. Currently no finisher, but you can use him to fly. Whee! Thirdly is Shadow Storm, which allows the user to spawn in 2 clones from the shadows and alongside yourself, charge at the target where you then do a combo, finishing off by swatting them with a sword like a fly. This is exactly like what Megami did to Reggie Star during their fight. By using a Gymnasium to create his domain, he summoned 2 clones who attacked and held Reggie down, where Megami then slashed him. Currently no finisher for this attack, but I doubt there'll be one because Megami doesn't finish anybody with it and there's not much you can do with it. Although there are currently no use for your R ability with any of your awakened moves, you can do something cool with this move. By using a Shadow Storm into the outside of a domain, you can break inside. Not only that, you can actually create a portal that people, including the domain caster, can go in and out of as they like. This is a callback from Megami's moment in Shibuya where he breaks into Dagon's domain in order to cancel his sure hit effect and help his fellow teammates escape. The reason as to why you could not do anything during this period is because Megami had to concentrate to puncture the hole in the domain. The reason why others can come inside after you is because that's exactly what Toji did when Megami opened it. Z is just a goat, bruh. Finally is who you've all been waiting to hear about. 8-handled sword divergent Sela divine general Maharaga, or his street name Big Raga the Op Stopper. This attack allows you to start a ritual and summon Maharaga. You will get this cool cutscene and then will be killed. But you now become Mahoraga and need to deal damage in order to keep the ritual bar up. Obviously, Mahoraga is the 10th Shikigami in the 10 Shadows technique, but this scenario comes from his summoning in Shibuya. Megami, left with no option, decides to use his last resort and summons Mahoraga, therefore starting the exorcism ritual. Remember how I said Megami must exercise the Shikigami in order to control them? Well, he's never done that for Mahoraga. When he summons him in Shibuya, he is immediately one-shotted, and Mahoraga decides he is not done and wants all the smoke, where he then engages in a battle with Sukuna. The ritual cutscene is exactly how it looks when Megami summons him. At the time of this recording, there are no moves that you get with Mahoraga, and not much is known about the ritual right now, although it is said that they will be adding moves. What is known is that when you deal damage, your ritual bar goes up, and when you're damaged, it is significantly less than when you are human. I do hope that Mahoraga's gimmick of adaptation does play a bigger part in the game eventually though. So, how well does it hold up to JJK? Now, because I want to be fair to the dev team, I am not going to give 10 Shadows a rating until it is fully out. But based on what I've seen so far, it is one of the more closer ones to JJK. To find out what this does, you should probably click on the video on your screen because that is part 1 of this series. But hey, if you don't want to, in a moment, another video will pop up on your screen that you should probably go check out. Millz Mafia out. Yeah.
He's lucky. He's looking.
I got him.
Yo!